I'm looking at it like this. We have to be grateful for President Trump and Maga, and we have to be grateful for this type of movement, because he's like the only president in our lifetime to actually be like Kennedy, or be like Reagan, or be like Lincoln, or be like Eisenhower, be like a president that sends hundreds of, or like tens, like thousands of Marines to the border, to protect Americans from illegal gang members, or illegal alien gang members, and MS-13 and the cartels. We have to be grateful for this type of movement, the MAGA, because that, and this type of movement where we have a president that could have the power to send the military to turn the water on in California for those wildfires. That's presidential. We have and we have to have a president. We need a president. We have to have the power to withdraw troops from the Middle East. So we focus on issues right here at home, and so we have, that's what a president is supposed to do. It's what we are supposed to be doing. We're supposed to be a president that cares for its citizens. This is why I think this movement that we have, because after this, after MAGA, after 2028, it's just not going to be that. Because there's no fixing it after this, because you have to realize something. And there was this quote by Allison Pill in Snowpiercer. What happens when the train stops? We all die. What happens when the train stops? We all freeze and die. What happens when the train stops? We all die. So, in this case, the Trump train, we all die in that case. Because when you talk about what's really transpiring in the world now, and when you with how like when you talk about the amount of debt, the amount of stuff that we do, the amount of things that we have in our way of like variables of like finance, or variables of economic stuff, it's not possible to mitigate. You can't mitigate 35 trillion. You can't mitigate that. You can only increase it. You can only increase it. You can't mitigate it. It's like you're not stopping a fentanyl addict. You're stopping a fentanyl addict. You really, when you talk about, after this type of movement is done, there's no, this is like the only president, there's no leader like this. There's no leader like, the Donald. There's no leader like this. There's no, type of person like this, after this movement. Maybe Vance, or maybe that guy. It could be like a spin-off of Maga. But, Newsom, yeah, he's no good now. He's a person that would set the country on fire and blame, a homeless person for it. But when you talk about this type of movement, there's no movement like MAGA. MAGA is the only thing we got. MAGA is the only thing that keeps America great. MAGA is about wanting America to be like the country, the country of JFK, the country of Eisenhower, the country of Roosevelt, the only thing we have to fear is fear itself. Or the country of Truman, the buck stops here. Or that type of stuff, that type of country. A country that everyone fears but loves. And wants to have to have a tech boom, to have an industry boom, a boom of big power, a boom of influence, a boom of culture, a boom of when the Beatles came into town, and when the Beatles revolution came to New York City, and performed with Frank Sinatra or something like that, or performed with or basically did spoofs of Elvis. That type of culture, that we need that back. We need, there's no movement like making Maga. So after Maga, it's probably going to, after Maga is done, America's done. America will be no more country. It'll be like what happened when Gorbachev left the Soviet Union. What happened when Gorbachev left the Soviet Union in 1991, in December 91, about 2 weeks after the inaugural Mega Day. It just didn't really function anywhere. And you saw the hammer and sickle get lowered, and then you saw the Russian flag go up. Because it wasn't the Soviet Union anymore. It was Russia. With all the other independent nations. And that's what you're going to probably see here. You're going to see the same thing where after MAGA, no more. After the MAGA stuff, because people would say, you know what, this is really not appropriate. Why should we love and make this country great? And, after MAGA is done, the country's got to be done. Because you're not going to have a leader like the Donald, and this is it. When you talk about a leader, you talk about a leader that can have power, that, like the power that JFK had over preventing World War III, preventing stuff with Cuba. Or having a president saying, you know what, let's basically control. And, we're not going to have a president like that. We're going to have people that would just basically, be like the last guy, Brandon, that didn't do shit for North Carolina, that didn't do anything to help people, and he sent only $750 and homes and kicked people out of homes or hotels with his FEMA. That's not presidential. That's not a president what we need. That is not the president that we need. We don't need a president that does nothing in office. We need a president. We need a president that does something in office. That does something, like a reformer, like Lincoln. Lincoln was our greatest president. That type of president we need. That type of president, that's the type of president we need. A Lincoln or a Trump or the Donald type of president. Not a president that does nothing. That does nothing like Brandon or even, Brandon was the person that basically did nothing. And that's why he was a joke in that sense. We need a president that does something for the people. And that's what we need to have. And that's what I need, and that's what everyone needs. So that's my Mega Leo signing off.